My name is Brian Alvarez, and today I will be reviewing the notorious action film directed by David Ayer, Fury. I actually chose the movie because I actually have a really deep interest in World War II, and specifically tanks. And well, I play this game called World of Tanks, which is basically a tank game, and well, they actually added the feature tank of this movie, which is Fury, into the actual game, which is how I found about this movie. And yeah, it's pretty cool, and that's why I actually liked it and chose to review this one. Well, Fury starts off in no man's land, and after a battle that's really unknown to the viewer, we here are introduced to the crew of Fury, which is Fury's actually an M4A3E8 Sherman medium tank called A3, not the A2 variant, because of the 76mm gun or cannon that it is equipped with. Well, the crew right here is shown to only have one casualty, which is basically the assistant driver, and Boar Daddy, which is the commander of the tank, decides to go back and receive new orders from the master sergeant and also get a new assistant driver. And right here, the new assistant driver is actually Norman Ellison, and he's actually only been in the army for 8 weeks and supposed to be actually a typewriter for the army, not like some kid who just got off and is basically about to serve in the military. So he wasn't really prepared for this. And basically, after the tank receives its orders, it's supposed to go on and complete its orders, and we see the orders be finished in the perspective of Norman. And now basically mise en scène is actually used a lot in this film, because the German soldier right here and the American soldier actually have really distinguishable stuff, the German soldier being really clean, and the American being really dirty with his uniform and all his aesthetics, because historically that's how the army is dressed. And now right here we have Norman Bates right here, who looks really clean and in the beginning of the film, and by the end of the film he looks terrible and all exhausted. And it's actually a pretty nice feature, because that's what he actually goes through, because he goes through so much that he just exhausts him mentally and physically and all this other stuff. Now basically the movie actually does make really good use of the cinematography as well, because right here we have this aerial shot of one of the tank battles, and it's actually pretty cool, because if you were to film the shot by on the ground, it wouldn't really be the much same magic, because you'd have to see over the shoulder one of the tanks or something like that, and it wouldn't really look that much cool. So yeah. And also right here, another tank battle scene, or not tank battle scene, but it's just a battle scene, is where the Shermans are being fired on by AA guns, anti-tank guns, AT actually. And right here we see on the top one, you see one of the shells ricocheting off one of the Shermans, and it looks if you were to see this in aerial shot, it wouldn't really look the same. It'd look pretty bad, because you only see the flash and not the actual shell taking off into the air. And right here in the bottom one, you actually see the tanks, tank crew, and the other soldiers fighting at the shooting at the German forces. And it's pretty cool, because if you do get if you were to get some other type of shot, it wouldn't really look nice. But yeah, that's why I really like this movie as well, because of the shots and stuff like that. Right here, where this German soldier is about to call hey, let's move on, let's keep on going. And this is basically one of the most famous scenes in the movie, because that's when the famous battle starts, and this right before it, so pretty good timing about this, and with the tank in the background, the Germans all over the place. It's pretty cool what's about to go down. But moving on, basically the theme is a war can actually bring out the sanity in people, and it's kind of true, because right here, Norman's basically losing his sanity throughout the film, because to get accepted into the crew, basically he has to go through a lot of things that the crew want him to do, and eventually the crew accepts him as who he is, but he has to go through a lot. Right here, where War Daddy is actually forcing him to kill a German soldier, and right here the rest of the crew knows what he's gone through, and know how he's just a little boy who's innocent and doesn't know what to do that much in the war, in the situation that he's in. And right here he's talking with War Daddy, and but about more stories and getting more used to the crew. And by the end of the film, he goes through so much after talking to everybody. And basically I actually didn't really know much about David Ayer, But like I found out that he actually like directed two more films, which is pretty cool. Which is not two more films, but three more. Like there's many more, but like the more popular ones. I like for me, I don't know if this movie popular, but like A51 was a story about like a U-boat that was actually like kidnapped by Americans, and it was pretty cool. I don't know if, I'm not sure if it was really fictional or not, but I have to review that. But it was pretty cool movie because I watched it before and I actually really like it. And he's also the director of Suicide Squad, which is pretty cool as well, and as well as Bright. Now, my honest review, like my feeling about the opinions, of the Fury, the movie, I feel like it was a pretty cool movie. I actually really liked it a lot. It was like really interesting to see like all these tanks and like these tank scenes and battles like that going on, like the cinematography as well, and like the acting like of the crew getting along with each other. I actually really liked it so much because like it was actually like able to bring out like a lot of aspect of like what it could have been like in the war and stuff like that with the crew members and how like hectic it could have gone, like this end scene like of like the Germans, all the like everybody's dead and stuff like that. Like it's like really cool like being able to see this because like you actually get to see like what like people had to go through, and it's like not cool like in if you were there, but like in a movie it's nice, like nice cinematography and stuff like that. And also like how the crew members were able to bond a lot easily, and also like like more shots like this, like it looks like hell. Like I heard like not heard, but I've like seen pictures like how war like actually does really look this bad after like the bombings of like houses and stuff like that, cities like Berlin and stuff. So yeah. And also like here when like the Germans, like not the Germans, but like when they're headed towards the front, the like American planes in the background, and it's all cool. But yeah, basically it's like really like bringing out like the hellish and war and what war really was for me, not for me, but like my lord, what I thought about war and what like it looks like they've gone through as well. And like I'd give it 3 togs and 1 kv2, a 3.5 star rating because of the historical inaccuracy. That's like the only thing I have against this movie, because like little spoiler, but not spoiler. Basically, in one of the scenes, like a tiger tank decides to shoot one of the Shermans, but it was basically they were in a single file line, and basically they didn't know like the tiger was there, and they actually decided to shoot the one all the way in the back, and which was like something a German officer would have never done. He would have shot the Sherman all the way in the front with a 76 millimeter, which was Fury, and like 76 millimeter like could have easily penetrated like the German tank if like not well like angled farmer, mathematics and stuff. But yeah, because other tanks could have like would never be able to penetrate the German tank. But yeah, that's like the only thing I have against it, because like a little bit of historical inaccuracy. But either way, like without that, I'd give the movie like a 4 togs and like 2 kv2s, a 4 star rating, because I actually really liked the movie and it was pretty cool. And like if anybody like would be interested in watching this, like because of war or stuff like that, I would really recommend you to watch this film. And yeah, that's basically my review of Fury, and thank you for watching.